talking out loud, brainstorming, and I didn't want to have it. I was sitting here at the toilet about to urinate. Anyway, I'm going to do it anyway. It's not like I'm showing myself on the camera. But I was going to say, I mean, I'm sure in some of this, there's been on this bad situation in regards to secret pregnancy, human trafficking, your enemy getting a kid that you never really got to formally know of, especially during pregnancy and even the day of surgery, and you went there. That's insane. Anyway, I was going to say that I mean, I'm not definitely no expert at law, and a lot I don't know about, but in some cases, it's like even if the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigators, though they may be heavily in with Arkansas government, the bad part of it, and they have to listen to what they say. But I was going to say, even if some of them collect, valid information, and I don't know how that works, if they have to take it to a federal judge, and the federal judge, still has to go with it, sign off on it, because Andy Reiner is a circuit judge. I'm saying I went through all these things, all these conspiracies, all these secrecies, medical malpractice before my mother died, 2019, Debbie Abbott, and then Dr. Michael Kogrove, gynecologist, who didn't discontinue. 2 pelvic ultrasounds were done, didn't discontinue medications from her primary care physician, Dr. Michael Verscher, who's also my primary care physician at the same time. She even went in a clinic appointment with me in front of him, April 2019. It was like right after that, the next month, May 2019, when we start seeing the gynecologist, Hot Springs, Arkansas, Dr. Michael Kogrove. And she was on medications for like Ambien, gabapentin, aka Neurontin. Well, anyway, no, but other than hints from the phone in various places, online internet hints on and off for like a year now, direct and indirect, not super direct in regard to child support. I've never been formally told of anything. So I guess in some cases, I don't know, maybe they feel guilty. I'm saying, I don't know if I should say this. If this has happened, if I do have a biological child out there, and if he or she, I guess he, I don't even like saying the names and stuff and who they remind me of, without getting into the details of why I don't like those people, like Public Defender Brian Johnson, Polk County, Arkansas, Montgomery County, and then the circuit judge associated to him, Andy Reiner. Man, there's no telling what they've all profited off of. They probably just justified. Even when my mother, Debbie Abbott, didn't know about it, I presume she didn't, and me. Like, my mother died August 2020, and I'd done three petitions for involuntary commitment the year she died. One in like January, one in February, one in June. She died August 2020. Well, anyway, and Judge Jerry Ryan knew that. Attorney at law Brian Johnson, John Yergin Jr. knew that. He was in court with my mother, February 2020. I was on the phone indirectly with John Max II, Arkansas State Rep, day before my mother died, August the 3rd, 2020. I called the Arkansas legislature as recommended by driver control under Arkansas Department of Finance Administration, Arkansas Department of Finance Administration, USA. Anyway, there was a surgery done in Hot Springs, Arkansas, who I went with then girlfriend, June 2019. It was supposedly to be a tubal to prevent pregnancy, but apparently she is pregnant. She had weight gain. She never told me, never gave me any signs of it. But I'm not going to get the long timeline of it here. I've said it in many other places. But the doctor knew, the staff knew. And in retrospect, I started discovering in like early spring 2021 that she was pregnant, and they all knew. And I discovered a lot of medical contradictions that Dr. Michael Kogrove said and did. Like like a week before the surgery, he brought up a term, ablation. He just says to her, he's like, oh, there's a procedure that we do that's called an ablation when we burn out the lining of the uterus. And it's a 90-second procedure. And 50% of women never have a period again. So I'm thinking, my mind's thinking like, this guy, like he's already had 2 pelvic ultrasounds done. One he done himself, even though after he done that first one, he walked up to me and said nothing cancerous or precancerous. My mind is still thinking, I felt relieved that day. Honestly, I felt relieved and shook the SOB's hand and thanked him for being thorough. You got me? A week or 2 before that, we got the results of the blood he had taken out of her arm. He said, she had abnormalities on that, like MTHFR gene, a mutated gene, something else, ADNKR. And he said it would increase the risk of spina bifida and miscarriages, because on the very first appointment, she had written down, he said to her, he's like, you've had 5 undocumented miscarriages. Some of those would have to be directly or indirectly documented, at least the time of the pregnancy somewhere, not necessarily when and where she had the miscarriage, because she may not have always went to a clinic when she had miscarriage. Because I know, like May the 5th, 2017, her then boyfriend said she was at a clinic somewhere, maybe facing a miscarriage. And later that year, 2017, after my grandmother Gladys Griblin left under the coordination of Arkansas State employee Laura Hodges, her boyfriend, first name starts with a J, said, he's like, oh, he's like, you did have a miscarriage, that came out. And he told me that the staff told him told the both of them that his hormones didn't match with her hormones, and that's why they had the miscarriage. Keep in mind, he probably quit school in the 12th grade, so some things is a little bit hard for him to understand, and his reading and writing level is only so much. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I mean, he's actually a pretty smart guy in some areas. Anyway, Arkansas hillbilly, more or less. But his girlfriend later told me, his then girlfriend said that that's not what they said that it was something about her stress hormone being elevated. That made more sense to me. So, but see, for the fact that but what was the context then and there? Not that she had a miscarriage necessarily, but why she could be facing one. So that could mean during the year 2017, there was a confirmed pregnancy at a clinic somewhere from Glenwood, Arkansas to Hot Springs, Arkansas. I think they said this in Hot Springs when I was on the phone with him that day, May the 5th, 2017. Very memorable day because Deputy Jacob Cogburn was here, state employee, DHS investigator, or whatever job title it is, Laura Hodges, 2 men with EMS, my grandmother Gladys Griblin left, and I've purposely said no names in this other than like doctors and public employees. So she may have had a miscarriage. If it wasn't a bona fide secret pregnancy baby delivery in 2017, similar to what I've been through, she may have had a miscarriage on her own and never went to a clinic for it. Because why else? Because if not, because that doctor, and I don't think he looks at things well, that Dr. Michael Cogrove, Hot Springs, Arkansas, why would he say 5 undocumented miscarriages? Unless there's some that have been documented and he didn't bring them up. And I think some of the terms, when he's saying 5 undocumented miscarriages, I think all or most of them, maybe not all of them, I think some of them were bona fide baby deliveries. And he knows it. So, I mean, if I can figure out that much, which the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigators, or whoever investigates those kind of things, obviously they couldn't investigate that unless they had somebody come forward or somebody like me to tell them or try to. But I'm sure there's divisions throughout Arkansas. I bet there's certain people that know about this. I don't know if John Boozman does. Senator John Boozman, he very well does. I have a sneaking suspicion he does. Without getting into why. Well, he toured C.G. Roxanne here in Montgomery County, Arkansas, USA, August 2019. And that was just over a month and a half after the Dr. Michael Colgrove surgery. That where he never told me that she is pregnant. He may have had something to do with selling a kid to Africa. Freedom of Information Act. If I get acquainted with the entity, if it's God's will, even if it's out of another country, you got to establish the base here. It's a work I want to do, and I do know. I'm gonna say Christians. They Jehovah's Witnesses, that they would probably condemn it or look down upon it, because it'd be like, well, I don't know. You'd be maybe want to expose things politically too much. But some things like this does come out to light from time to time, in places to places, in state to state, country to country, and it makes people put less faith and trust in politicians because it's so corrupt. But if it is to God's will, I do wish for both, for legal defense, maybe try to set matters straight that I'm not even totally informed of, and maybe for profit, not profit, or even if somehow or another, if some of it was copyrighted or whatever, well, I mean, that money can go somewhere else. Not that it ever made them a lot of money, but I'm just saying, I don't know. It's like if I was wealthy, if I could afford to do it myself, I would. If my conscience was clean enough about it, if I was really, really wealthy, I'd be paying a law firm or marketers just to compile. I'd temporarily be creating my own newspaper probably, and just go passing them out all in Norman and Mena and Glenwood, with photos of people like Andy Reiner, Brian Johnson, Dr. Michael Colgrove, and be like, here's the facts. This is what they done. This is what they do. But see, there's a whole lot I don't know about it. That's why I would like to get acquainted with the entity that's, one, not a coward, but two, that's fair, values ethics, that's not about pedophiles, baby trafficking, things like that, or Andy Reiner, pornography, international business, if that's what he does. See, there's a work I want to do, and I've been doing it here on and off for a while, with many of an email, many of a verbal commentary, on a video uploaded, quite a few calls farther back to Consumer Financial Protection Bureau or whistleblower, where there was lots. I've logged in lots of things just over that. And even with that being said, who was the anesthesiologist for Dr. Michael Colgrove? June 2019. It could have been my then girlfriend's brother-in-law, Eric Lee. I don't know. Anesthesiologist. It gets sicker and sicker the more I speculate it. These people, they want babies to either make money or indirectly save money. Like if somebody's gets child support, say it's a doctor, they got 2 ex-wives, they got a number of minor children with them, 2 ex-wives, and they're paying child support. Well, apparently if they can claim another dependent, it reduces their child support.